Dubrovnik, historically known as Ragusa, is a city in southern Croatia by the Adriatic Sea. It is one of the most prominent tourist destinations in the Mediterranean and a seaport. George Bernard Shaw once enchanted by this beautiful city, about which he said, "Those who seek paradise on earth should come to Dubrovnik." He also famously described it as the Pearl of the Adriatic. The history of the city dates back to the 7th century, when the town known as Ragusa was founded by the refugees from Epidaurus. It was under the protection of the Byzantine Empire and later under the sovereignty of the Republic of Venice. Between the 14th and 19th centuries, Dubrovnik ruled itself as a free state. The prosperity of the city was historically based on maritime trade. It is a stunning city with an amazing old town, which became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1979. Standing 37 meters above the sea level, St. Lawrence Fortress, often called Dubrovnik's Gibraltar, is a fortress and theatre outside the western wall of the city. Famous for its place and importance in resisting Venetian rule, St. Lawrence Fortress overshadows the two entrances to the city of Dubrovnik from the sea and by land. The fort was built in order to protect the western sea access to the city, particularly from the Venetian fleet. The construction began in 1018 and was completed in the 16th century. The thickness of the walls facing the sea is between 4 to 12 meters. Above the entrance is an inscription in Latin language, which means freedom is not sold for all the gold of the world. The fort houses a chapel of St. Lawrence, and its courtyard with a cistern serves as a magical venue for theatrical performances. A large number of plays has been performed here within the Dubrovnik's summer festival program. Croatia only became an independent country from the old Yugoslavia in 1991, but the history of Dubrovnik is one that goes back centuries. As the capital of the maritime republic of Ragusa, it achieved a high level of development, particularly during the 15th and 16th centuries, as it became notable for its wealth and skilled diplomacy. At that time, Dubrovnik became a cradle of Croatian literature. Built in 1420, this old stone fountain is also known as the Kosar Fountain. The lion's head represents the Lion of Judea. Up until the fall of Republic to Napoleon, this was the only fountain in the city that Jews could drink from. Napoleon changed this, making all fountains available to the Jews. Dated from 1902 and situated on the corner of Gondolik Square, this fountain was sculpted by Croatian sculptor Ivan Rendic and was presented to the city of Dubrovnik by Mr. Amonling. The walls are the main reason why Dubrovnik is well known as the Pearl of the Adriatic. It is a wonderful experience to walk down the walls and a must-do thing when visiting Dubrovnik. The walls run uninterrupted for 1940 meters in length, encircling most of the city, and reach a maximum height of about 25 meters, covering 6 fortresses. These walls were built through the history in times when there was a danger of foreign attacks over the city, and the Dubrovnik Republic. The main entrance to the old town, the Pile Gate in the old time, used to have a wooden drawbridge which used to be pulled up at night to prevent unwelcome guests. This imposing city gate was built in 1537. Napoleon famously entered the city through this set of gates in 1806, signaling the beginning of the end of the Dubrovnik Republic. Once you are through the gates, you will find yourself by the old town's pedestrianized main street known as Plaka or the Stardon. This attractive thoroughfare is lined with picturesque 17th century buildings. As soon as you enter into the old town to Stardon through the Pile Gate, on your right side you will see this large rounded polygonal shaped structure with a cupola and 16 water taps. This is the well-known large Onofrio's fountain, designed in 1438 by the prominent Italian architect Onofrio di Giordano della Cava. He was an Italian architect from Napoli who got the job in the town to design the town's waterworks and fountains. The Franciscan Friary and Church is a large complex belonging to the Order of the Friars Minor. It consists of a friary, a church, a library, and a pharmacy. The friary was built in 1360 in late Romanesque style. The pharmacy here dates from 1317 and is the oldest still functioning pharmacy in Europe and the third oldest in the world. The friary contains two cloisters. The lower cloister was built in Romanesque Gothic style. The upper cloister was built in Renaissance style with arches and semicircular vaults. Located at the end of the Stadion, the clock tower is an elegant 31 meters high timepiece. Originally constructed in 1444, it is a magnificent landmark of the old town. The Sponja Palace, also called Divona, is a 16th century palace. Its name is derived from the Latin word spongia, the spot where rainwater was collected. The rectangular building with an inner courtyard was built in a mixed Gothic and Renaissance style between 1516 and 1522. This column, erected in 1418, features armored knight Orlando, who according to the legend helped the people of Old Dubrovnik defeat invaders in the Middle Ages and therefore helped Dubrovnik to remain a free trade city-state. This church was built in 1715 by the Venetian architect and sculptor Marino Groppelli on the foundations of a badly damaged Romanesque medieval church. The Rector's Palace is used to serve as a seat of the Rector of the Republic of Ragusa between the 14th century and 1808. It was also the seat of the Minor Council and the state administration. Originally, it was a site of a defense building in the early Middle Ages. It housed an armory, the powder magazine, the watch house, and a prison. The dragon prison cell, named after the figure of a dragon that was carved on the right-hand side of the doorway, was part of the block of cells which housed more hardened criminals. The Assumption Cathedral is a Roman Catholic cathedral in Dubrovnik. It is the seat of the Diocese of Dubrovnik. The former Romanesque cathedral located at the same site, built from the 12th to 14th centuries, was constructed by the English king Richard the Lionheart. Having survived a shipwreck near the storm-stricken island of Lokrum, on his way back from the Third Crusade in 1192, he vowed to donate the money for the construction of a large church to the city in possession of the first land he set his feet on. The Jesuit stairs are one of the most representative examples of Baroque architecture in Dubrovnik. When you walk up the stairs, you will come out on Boskovic Square with the impressive Jesuit Church of St. Ignatius. The fortress of St. Ivan was built in 1346 under the name Fortress of Mule. Inside the fortress, there was originally a large powder warehouse. The history of the Lokrum island goes back to the first inhabitants in the 11th century, the Saint Benedict monks. According to the legend, they cursed the island right before they were expelled from here by Napoleon in the 19th century. Legend has it that in 1023, a great fire broke out in Dubrovnik and the inhabitants of the city decided to make a vow to Saint Benedict, promising that they would construct a monastery in his name, if only he might intervene and help save them. Miraculously, the fire was extinguished instantly, and true to their word, people built a Benedictine monastery and church on Lokrum, which they dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary. When French army general ordered the closure of the monastery and the expulsion of the Benedictines, the monks, horrified by this, cursed those who aimed to take their land. Whosoever claims Lokrum for his own personal pleasure shall be damned.